Good morning, everybody. I'm Neil DeFranco, and this is monthly marketing statistics for Springfield Township in Montgomery County. This is the 2017 year-end edition. So we'll start off here talking about residential properties sold in Springfield Township in 2017. We have an overlay for each of these price ranges showing the average days on market by price range. One of the reasons I break it out into these ranges is to make the data more meaningful than if we were to talk about the entire township and say, such and such was the average days on market and such was the average price. This makes the data more meaningful to the individual homeowners who might be evaluating the market. As we see here on the right-hand side, as the prices get higher into the luxury market, your average days on market creep up. And in the center on to the left, we see that the average days on market tend to level out there around 30 days. And you do see a significant increase in inventory movement in these price ranges. Something noteworthy on this data is in 2017, 244 properties sold. This is actually down from 2016, where we had 280 properties sold. And I've talked in previous videos about us being in a seller's market. This is a main contributing factor to the seller's market when we have lower inventory. So as we go forward, it'll be interesting to see through 2018 if the demand continues, if days on market continue to be low, and if the number of properties coming to the market are increasing for demand, or if they continue to stay on the low side. So what I've done with this slide is I've taken all of that residential sale activity from 2017. I've broken it out into ranges so that we can see how many properties sold in each day on market range. Over here on the left-hand side, we have 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60, on up, and then this is the number of properties that actually fall into each of those categories. What's crazy is 68% of the homes sold in Springfield in 2017 sold in 30 days or less. So this trend continues. How quickly could you expect your home to sell? Well, we can't just take this data and say, your home's going to sell in less than 30 days. It really isn't that simple. We have to look at pricing. Pricing has to be appropriate for your house. It has to be appropriate for the market, and there's more to it. Features of your property, condition of your property, location, look. It has to be what the active buyers on the market want. Now, assuming your property comes onto the market, buyers see it, they're interested in it, then you should expect, if you have a ton of showings and you're priced appropriately, you should expect it to sell relatively quickly based on this data, based on what we saw in 2017, assuming everything continues to trend into 2018. Now with this slide, we're looking at the pending homes at the close of 2017. This is not pending homes currently as we are in January of 2018. This is the last day of 2017. These are the properties that were pending in Springfield Township. So these are under contract, through the process, just waiting on that settlement date. As we can see here, we have fewer price ranges. I dropped off everything to the right of $1 million because it would have just been all zero data. And that's why our graph looks a little bit different here. A couple things that are important to point out. Here in our price range, 301 to 350, again, that is the tallest column. The most activity we saw in one of the previous slides where we talked about home sales in 2017. That's where we saw the majority of activity. And here, as we look at pending sales, again, that's where we're seeing the majority of activity. Another thing to point out when we look at this range of 701,000 to 1 million, there were 5 homes in 2017 that sold in that range. So actually went to settlement in 2017. Here we are pending at the end of 2017. There's 3 more. So it's actually a decent amount of activity in a price range where you only saw 5 homes in all of 2017. And here we're starting out 2018 with 3 that are slated to settle in the next couple months, most likely. So for this next slide, we are looking at active homes at the end of 2017. There are more active homes at this point in 2018 than this point in January, but at the close of the year, this is what was active in Springfield Township. What I want to point out here again, this range 301 to 350,000. This was our highest range in homes sold in 2017, and we also saw the most pending properties there. And as we start off 2018, we see a bit of a shortage in properties in that most popular price range in Springfield Township. So it's interesting going forward, if you have a lot of buyers in that price range, there's not a lot of inventory for them to evaluate at this time. Again, here with this, we have an overlay of the average days on market for these properties. As we see, these average days on market are significantly higher than what we saw for the homes that were sold in 2017, as well as the pending properties that were basically marketed in 2017 and they're just going to settle in 2018. This could tell us a couple things. It could be that the houses are priced a little bit high for what they have to offer. It could just be that they aren't quite what the buyers want. It could be anything, but it's interesting to see as the year closes out, these are the properties that did not sell and we have higher days on market. We want to see those numbers come lower. Then this doesn't mean that any new property that comes onto the market is going to have these higher price ranges. Again, we have to look at the location of the property, what features does it have, and the conditions, and really is the buyer demand going to apply to that house, and you would expect it to sell a little bit faster. One of the other things here, as we look over to the right-hand side in this luxury market, as we go above $700,000, here, these average days on markets, if we combine all these price ranges, it's an average days on market of 104. Monthly sales traditionally from 701,000 plus, you tend to see about 2 properties sold per month. So if we look at how many properties are on the market, the 8, the 2, the 3, and the 2, with an average monthly sales of 2, that gives us 7 months of inventory accumulation. So that price range does not have a very strong seller's market. And that's typical for a luxury market. They do tend to take a little bit longer to sell. You have fewer buyers operating in that price range, and you should expect those houses to take a little bit longer. With this slide, we're looking at residential sales activity in Springfield Township from 2013 through 2017. This is the total residential market, so all price ranges. As we look at the slide here, I want to point out that back in 2013, our average sold price was $331,125. Now compare that to 2017, when the average sold price was up to $391,607. This is an 18% increase in average prices. When we talk about days on market, average days on market back in 2013, it was 66. This is for the entire market, not a specific price range. And here in 2017, the average for the entire Springfield Township market was 38 days on market. So that's a 43% decrease in average days on market between 2013 and 2017. We do have a shortage of listings here. When you compare the years, obviously the activity looks like it was lower in 2013 as well, but compared to the previous couple of years, 2017 was a down year for listing activity. Now with this slide, we're looking at the residential market for 2017 broken out by month. The previous slide was the entire market from 2013 through 2017. With this slide, we're just looking at a subset of the residential market between $200,000 and $600,000. Springfield tends to see the majority of sales activity, residential sales activity, in that price range, and that's why I've broken that out here. So down below in our bar graph, we've got our units listed for each month in blue. We have our pended units for each month in orange, and we have our sold properties in gray. And then, of course, we do have our average days on market here in the yellow line. You can see a dip in average days on market in spring, again here in November, towards the end of the fall market leading into the holiday season. And then what we saw here is an uptick in December. Average days on market crept up. Very few new listings, very few new pended properties. And then, of course, here we had sold properties these were properties that were marketed earlier in the fall season that were being sold prior to the end of the year. So we did have a slowdown in December. I'm definitely interested to see what the spring is going to bring, especially after this cold weather gets behind us. And so, it's interesting to look at a graph of sales activity. What I find to be more useful than a graph, everybody thinks a picture's worth 1,000 words. Well, I say there's no replacement for a good interactive map. So if you would like to see an interactive map of all the properties that sold in Springfield Township, this is just residential properties, in 2017. You can follow this link. You could also get to this link from the blog post on my website, realtorneil.com. Under blogs, you'll have both an embedded interactive map and also the link to a full screen version of that map. Closing out December, this is just a recap of the residential activity for December. This is the total market. So the previous slide we were talking about that subset between $200,000 and $600,000. This is for the total market, so all price ranges. 6 properties listed. The average listing price was just about $429,000. You can see we had 5 pended properties, 15 sold, and then that average sold price at $300,000 and just about $385,000. So here our average days on market is 30. Again, this is for the total market. So for our subset, it was a little bit higher than 30, but for the total market, the average days on market for December was 30. And here we're going to end with the market of Springfield Township. This is the current market. Price range from $200,000 to $600,000. Inventory as of the 8th is 22 properties. Average monthly sales, this is over a 12-month period. In that price range is 17, so that gives us an inventory accumulation of 1.2 months. Theoretically, it would take 1.2 months to sell off all of the properties for sale in Springfield in that price range. When we look at the total market, all residential properties in Springfield, current inventory is 39 as of the 8th, average monthly sales of 20, so our inventory accumulation there is 1.9 months. These numbers, this is a strong seller's market. We would have to see a higher inventory accumulation number before we would see a slowdown in the market. So as that trend continues, we're going to continue with the seller's market. So I'd like to thank you for watching. I'm Neil DeFranco with Elfont Wissick and Realtors. You can reach me through commenting on this video. I'm available by text, phone, or email, and I'm online at realtorneil.com. Have a fantastic day. Take care.